and that gives you access to these 3 age bands and these teacher tools here. This bar along the top, news alerts. And the concept is that when you're in teacher mode, you can edit the content and decide what you want the children to see. So if you flick here to pupil mode, you can see that their default view is this. If I go back again here, you can see you've got a lot more going on as teachers. And what you're doing is using all these pale yellow things to customize what the children see behind these age bands. So you've probably been using the content that is sitting in these setups, which is sitting in the age bands. And these are made by Busy Things. And what they are is a ready-made entry point into all the content suitable for this year group. So there you go. So that's what we call a setup. Now the setups that come with Busy Things are open. They're like a playground. Anybody can go in, any member of staff can go in and customize it. The problem is that then other members of staff will see those customizations, and maybe you can't really control where the children are playing, as it were. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a new kind of setup, which is called a class setup. And that is a setup which is just for your pupils, and a setup where you can see what they've been doing, and you can also ask them, you can message them, send them feedback, and pull out work for them to do. Right, so, okay, so the way you make a setup is to go up here to manage setups. You need to be in here. It's very simple. You just click within the age band. This is showing you a view of all the setups that currently exist on this account. So they're all the ones that I was just showing you, made by Busy Things. You want to make one for yourself. So are you all early years or older?
I've got quite a wide age group because I work at an SEN school.
Right, okay. So should we just go in the middle? Should we go key stage 1? But you could be clicking any of these. And as I say, I'm not really getting into the content. So I'm just going to show you how to set it up. So I've clicked this plus sign and it defaults to the kind of setup that we want. So you don't need to do anything here. You just click the plus sign. Class setup secure. Comes with individual pupil areas, timeline reporting, and the ability to send feedback. So that's what we want. If you've never set up a class on Busy Things before, you are forced to make a registration group. You cannot at this stage make what we call a teaching group. So a registration group is a sort of starting point for all the pupils that you're managing and that maybe you take the register with every morning. A teaching group are subgroups within the registration group to help you personalize their learning. But for now, what we're doing is we're setting up a class and putting all the pupils in it, and then you can go a little bit further once they have an identity on Busy Things. Right, so next. So I use the word identity there. Now we do need to know who you are because you are going to manage this class. So it's going to ask you to set up the owner. Now, if you don't already have an identity on Busy Things, you can make one now. So I'm clicking that. These are previous identities that exist at the moment, but I'm going to show you how you set up a new one very quickly. So I'm going to click help me set up a new ID. So we've been kind of diverted. We're making a class, but it's saying, well, whose is this class? And I'm assuming that you haven't done this yet. So we're going off onto a little bit of a tangent. I'm putting my email address in, clicking OK, and I'm being asked to make an identity now. So that email entry has sent me a little activation code. So you will have to go through that. Sorry, I didn't mean to show you all my email. So I picked up, you'll get an email just like this. Very quickly. Oh. Hold on. There's sort of insight into my life. I'll pop that in there. Okay, now you write your name as you want the children to see it. So I'll be Mrs. Hall. You can make a nice little picture of yourself. The children will see this. I'm pressing this button here as a sort of starting point. And then I can add various things. And when you're happy with that, just click OK. So for this demo, I'm just going to use a passcode like that. So these are details that will go with you now. So this is what you will look like on Busy Things. And this is the code that you will need to access and manage your class. A class can have multiple owners. So once all the staff on your school account have set up their ID, they will appear behind this pop-up, and you can add them too, so they can manage your class and send feedback with you. You can go back and do this later. You don't need to worry about adding them yet. Right, so we diverted, we're making a class, we've made it an ID. If you look, we're up here now. So the Busy Things knows this is me now. And it's assuming that this is the class that I want to manage. So Mrs. Hall. I don't recommend giving your setup a username and password. You don't need to do that because we're going to give the children identities. I'm going to default to year 1, but again, you can customize content later. I'm going to change the icon. And I'm going to change the background. And I'm going to click next. This is getting into maybe too much detail to start with, so we're not going to bother with that. We're just going to take the defaults and click save. So I've gone through 7 steps. If you look, it's popped it in here in the background there. It says made by Mrs. Hall, registration group. And it's got a different icon to these made by Busy Things ones. It's a closed class with pupils in it. We haven't got any pupils in it yet. We're going to add them now. So I'm going to add the pupils myself. The class code up here is not something that you need to probably get involved in unless you're teaching older children. This is a way of them entering the class themselves and creating their own identity themselves. But the vast majority of you will just want to add the pupils yourself. So we're going to do that. I am going to upload a CSV file that I have, and it's got 3 columns in it, this CSV file with names, surnames, and other. So all the columns in your CSV file will appear here. Now we just want the name and the surname, and I'm going to click save. So that's popped them in. Next. Okay, so I think we will choose correct capitals and shorten. Now that is a good idea because it shortens their name, and also from a privacy point of view, you're not displaying their full name, because when the children click on themselves, they will see all the other children in the class. They have to just click themselves. They won't be able to do anything by clicking on other children, but obviously if they're at home, you maybe don't want to display all the class names to parents and so on. So I would correct capitals and shorten and click save. Okay, so we're finished, and at the end of that process it says your pupils are ready. Print pupil slips. So I'm not going to do that now because I'm going to go and show you where you can edit the information that is on these slips. But I'll open it up, and what we're looking at here is what to print. So the classroom login is the login that pupils use to get into Busy Things. That's the one that they share. The ID is what they need to get into their area. So if we just generate this PDF, I can show you what I'm talking about in more detail. So here it is. Oops, sorry, let's get rid of some of these. Yeah. So this is what you want the children to kind of understand, or their parents to understand. They're in this class. This is the class we've just made. To go into Busy Things, they need to log in as they always have. This is my classroom login here. Yours will be different. So you've got your teacher login and your classroom login. If you're not sure what those details are, just ask me. And this obviously would go to the pupil that is called Anne-Marie M. Okay, so she gets an ID and she's told what class she's in, and she's told how to get into Busy Things. So this is how to get into Busy Things, and this is your pupil ID that you need to get into this class. Sounds complicated, but it really isn't. Okay, so we're not going to print that now. I'm just going to go back here. And the reason why we're not going to print that now is that I'm going to show you how to edit it, because you might want to simplify the children's passcodes. Okay, close. So at the end of this process, we've made the class, we've added the pupils, and it tells you you've made your first class. We've added a My Busy Things area to your welcome screen. Okay, so when we come out now, we've got a My Busy Things area. Now this is your Busy Things, as in My Busy Things. That's why your picture's on it. So when another teacher logs in, it'll show a different, it'll show her identity and her name. So behind this is your class that you've just made. And inside that class is everything you need to send work to your pupils, to see what they've been doing, and to manage the content that they see inside their class setup. So this is the class setup we made. It looks exactly like the ones made by Busy Things at the moment, because we haven't changed it. And these are the tools that we're going to use to communicate with our pupils. Okay, so the routine for you from this point onwards is let me just log out. You log in with your school login. There will always be a My Busy Things area. At this point, it doesn't know what teacher's looking at it. So you click on here, you choose your name, you put in the passcode, and it turns into your area, and it takes you into your area so you can manage your class, see whether your pupils have sent you any messages, look at any files you've saved, set assignments, look at what the pupils have been doing, etc., etc. So let's have a look at the pupil list. These are all the pupils, Leo. These are all the pupils that we imported. So these are all the pupils in my registration group. I can send a message from here to that pupil. So I'm going to say, welcome to Busy Things, Marie. You could say, welcome to my class. I mean, you don't have to say anything from here. But this is, there's lots of places where you can send messages to the pupil. If you're doing it in the Manage Pupils area, then you're just sending them a message. It's not attached to a piece of work or anything like that. You can batch messages. So if you wanted to send the whole class a welcome message, you'd use these check boxes here and look at the options. up send message to selected pupils here, and that will send a message to all of them. I'm going to show you what it looks like for them in a minute. Right, so we're having a look at the pupil list. If you remember, they were all given a passcode. So this is where you can check out what they were given. I'm going to edit that. So view passcode, and I'm going to simplify it. We're going to be 3 cupcakes. There. So for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to be Anne-Marie. But imagine you've got all these pupils. Perhaps you've gone through and you've simplified all these passcodes, and then you want to print the login details. So you go up here and generate that PDF that I just showed you. Or perhaps you only want some of them. And then you can just print selected login details. I'll just touch on this. The checkboxes are really useful. Wherever you see lists, there's usually checkboxes so that you can batch whatever you're doing. So if I wanted to personalize this class now, I say this top 5, I want to send them different work to the rest of the class. I would check this and then put them in a teaching group here. And then a teaching group would appear out here for those pupils. And that would give me access to all these tools just for that group. If you want me to do that at the end, I will. But for now, we're managing a whole class. So let's set some work. And then I'm going to be Anne-Marie. And then log in with the 3 cupcakes, click on my identity and do the work. Then we're going to come back here and send her some feedback. Okay, so let's make an assignment. I'm going to assign a project. Again, I'm not going to get into the kind of content that's on Busy Things. That's really in the beginner's tutorial. So let's just pick this one. So I went into assignments. I didn't use any of these filters, but you can. You get a list here. And then if you click the blue assign activity, you will be taken through a few steps to make the assignment and send it to your pupils. So I'm going to take the default title that Busy Things has given me and the default instructions. And I want it's assuming that I want to assign this to all the children in the class we've just made. At this point, you can make a teaching group as well. So if you just want to send it to a few children, you can set the assignment to appear at a date in the future, so you can plan. And that's it. But the very last screen, we've got this button, send blast. Now, a blast is a message that appears for every child in the class. So these are pre-made blasts, so they're just quick links. So if I click send assignment, it'll just populate this with some basic text. Again, you can plan for the future, and you can say how long this message is there for children. So if you want to give them a week to do this assignment, you might want to change that to a week. Confirm, close, close. Okay, so what we did was we went in here, we clicked assign a project. There's other types of activities. You can make your own project as well. So if you've got something in mind, like you want them to make a poster or something like that, there's lots of templates behind there. Projects are simple writing and drawing topic work. So you can see we've made this one. We've had no submissions. That's because no child's done it yet. Okay, so that has gone.
Rachel,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. When you send a blast, is that sending a message when they open up busy things?
You'll see in a minute. Now get there, my
Oh,
busy
you're gonna...
things area, and it'll be there. We're going to go and see it in a minute as Anne-Marie. Yeah. So that assignment has gone to the whole class. In every child's My Busy Things, when they log in with their passcode, they will see that assignment. If I'd made a teaching group, then just a smaller selection would see it. Okay, so that's one way of sending work. Another way of sending work is through the blast area itself. So if I click on that, you can see this is an area where you can see all the messages that are currently live to your children. So if I look on here, I can edit it and delete it if you've made a typo and you think, oh, I shouldn't have sent that. You can manage it here. So we've got these 4 types of blast over here. Now we blasted the assignment already. So this will pick up any assignments that you've made in the assignments area, any pins that you've made, which are folders. Have any of you made pins? Yeah. So you can blast a pin. I'll make one quickly. And any activities that are within your class setup. So let's just do an activity quickly. I'll just do a maths activity. I will do action time. I'm going to change the settings first. Be mindful of these red buttons and all the search tools. So activity settings, have a quick look what it's set to. So let's just simplify that. 1 to 5, save. Right, I've changed the settings on that game. I'm now going to send it to the class, and I'm going to say for this week, here is your work. I use the shortcut there. Actually, we don't want to do that because that's not going to appear we want that to appear now. So I'm changing that date to today. Done. And confirm. Close. So we came back into the blast area and made another one now. So the children have all got 2 messages in their My Busy Things area. So blast a pin, it says you have no pins because this is currently a clean account. Now I'm going to make a pin, but I'm just going to talk before I do that about these search tools here. So these search tools are searching all the content in here. If you remember on the way in, we said year 1. So that's only searching year 1 content. If you wanted to pin activities from nursery year or key stage 2, you can still do that and you can still blast them, but you need to come right out here and use these search tools, because these are searching all those setups that I showed you in here. So if I decide I'm going to look at the curriculum browser, and actually I want my nursery children to do some key stage 1, or a group of them to do some key stage 1 number, I can use this search tool, and again I can look at the settings and I can send a blast or I can pin to home page. So let's just start this pin process. Again, you can customize it for a smaller group of children, but remember, sorry. You can customize it for a smaller group of children. Maths Tuesday, let's just take that. Use current activity settings, choose new settings. But all I'm really saying is that remember that the search tools, you don't have to just send children content from the class setup. You can send them content from the whole of Busy Things, but you have to use the tools out of your class setup. Okay, so we made a pin there. Here it is. So think of a pin as a folder. We put in that folder some key stage 2 maths game. I'm going to also search within my setup maths, and this isn't something you would ordinarily do, but I can add another game. So I'm going to pin to setup home page, add to existing pin, confirm. So I've also put a second game in there. So we've made an assignment. We have messaged Anne-Marie here saying welcome to the class. We made 2 blasts, one off the assignments area, one in the blast area of a game. We changed the settings of this before we did that. And we made a folder with some content from the Key Stage 2 band and also some content from our class. The other thing you can do, which you might not be aware of, is change what the children see in the setup very, very quickly. So I'm going to go in there and do that. I'm going to stick with the maths theme and imagine we're having a maths day. So I've found a menu of content that I like the look of, and I'm jumping up here to Mrs. Hall's settings, and I'm going to make this the landing page. So landing page, use current page, save. I could have, before doing that, hidden some of these activities. If you just wanted to use the top 5, click this hide and show before you change the landing page. Okay, right, let's go now. Get over to being a pupil. Okay, so the Anne-Marie's stuck at home wanting to do some busy things, and you have sent her the instructions on how to log into busy things and her pupil ID, and it says on it you need to log in, click my busy things, click your class, click your name, and enter 3 cupcakes. So she's in. And when she comes out here, this is her my busy things. Look, her name's on there. If she makes herself a little picture, she appears on here. So let's just do that again. Stop using a pupil ID. She's logged into busy things. She knows what to do now. She always clicks on my busy things. She clicks her class, she clicks her name, and she enters 3 cupcakes. Okay, so she's here now. This is her class. It's just showing the maths game because we changed it. These are her blasts. So we've said, can you do this assignment and can you play this game? And these are her messages. And this is the pin that we made. Okay, so the messages, there we are. And we've said, welcome to Busy Things, Anne-Marie. Now, Busy Things defaults to children being able to reply to a message. They can't just send you a message. If you want to know how to change it so they can't send any messages, ask me and I will show you. But we're going to say thank you. So that message has gone over to your My Busy Things area from her, and I'll show you that when we go back. Right, so Anne-Marie's logged into Busy Things. She's got this lovely work to do, so we're going to do it. And she's clicked on the first one, and I am going to make a nice picture. I'm going to import a background photograph. Polar landscape. Okay, I'll put a seal in it, and I'm going to type some work, and I'm going to make it use some art tools here. And at the end, I can save to carry on later or submit to teacher. Now, this is just this type of assignment. There's others. There's labeling ones. There's quizzes. There's just straight colouring ones. So it's worth exploring the content when you've got some time. Right, okay, so we've got a little tick there, and if you notice, the number 1 went from my assignments because that assignment also appears in here. There was a red button on there, and it was in open assignments, but now it's under completed assignments. So we've replied to the message. We're going to play this game now.
In the bag are some sweets. Click on the right number in the number line or good counting. Here.
Okay, I'm going to go into what I'm actually doing is I'm not just playing the games for no reason. I'm trying to get Anne-Marie's timeline to populate so that you can see what she's been doing. So just bear with me. I'm just going to have a go at this. Okay, so there we go. Look, this is what her parents would see. Because this is her own personal timeline. It hasn't got any feedback on it at the moment. But you can see it's building up a story of the things that she's been doing on Busy Things. Right. If Marie goes in here, and I don't think we've got anything that I can save into a files area, but if this had some artwork or project work in and she saved it because she was just playing on Busy Things, her files would go in here, my files. And when she moves class up here, change or join class, goes to another class, those files will go with her. So she's got her ID for the lifetime that she's in school. Her name and her 3 cupcakes is how she uses Busy Things. Right, so let's go back now and send some feedback, and then I think we're about done. Stop using this pupil ID. Right, okay, so next day I've come in, I've logged in with the login for all teachers. I want to look at what my pupils have been doing, so I need to tell Busy Things that it's me. I've got one message. So this is a conversation that I'm having with Anne-Marie. You might be having conversations with children from other classes. If you're made the owner of somebody else's class, it will appear in here as well. That's how it's shared. If you remember, we touched on manage owners. If you want to add an owner, you go to settings and manage owners. If you want another member of staff to use to have your class appear in their My Busy Things area so they can do all this as well as you, say you're off for a week and you want them to send feedback, you need to add them there. Right, well, we're going in and we're going to see if anyone's done the assignments, and we can see we've had 1 submission. So I go to results and I can see these are all the pupils that haven't yet done it. I can send a reminder here. Ordinarily, you'd have a nice long list of pictures here. I've clicked on it to have a better look. And again, you can start using these checkboxes to batch your feedback. But because we've only got one pupil, we're just going to use this button here, send feedback. Okay. So that has gone over to Anne-Marie's messages with a little thumbnail of her work in it, so she knows what you're talking about. Okay. So if I go into the class timeline here, you can see, you will get a quick look at which pupils have done what, because you'll get a whole load of their IDs here. Excuse me. And you can send feedback to all from here. And you can remind yourself of the activity and the curriculum links of what you sent. So always be mindful of this little red button here, because it always gives you options. When you click on individuals, you get through to their individual timeline. If you can't remember if you've sent feedback or not, there will be a review feedback, and another teacher will be able to see what you've written there if she's got it in your My Busy Things area too. Right, so we're nearly done. I'm just going to go and have a look at that one piece of feedback that we sent. So I'm coming along next morning. I'm logging in as Anne-Marie. I've logged into Busy Things. I've chosen my class. I click my name, put my cupcakes in, and I've got one message. And there it is. So that's how the feedback is received by the pupil. Right, has anybody got any questions? I have recorded it, so you will be able to go over it slowly. I know it's a lot to take in.
On the setup, I haven't. The only question it would be really good, because a lot of SEND stuff comes under junior schools, and you have to pick out what you can. Is there any chance that in the actual whole setup of the thing, that at some point we can have an SEND button, so it didn't matter what year they were, you could put the right activities in, which is more of a whole platform question really, rather than a how to do it.
Are you after a setup that just displays specific activities?
Yeah, because at the moment, if you're either early years, stage 1 or stage 2, or the age groups, which some of them can actually, they can read it, but they can't, they struggle with some of the activities. Where if it's just a primary setting, you're only going up to age 11.
Yeah.
But with our school, we go up to age 19.
Yeah.
But the content is relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's almost like trying to get rid of the titles in the settings and have just one that's like SEND, and you can just shove anything in that hasn't got the early years or up to 11 or up to 4. Do you see what?
I think you can already do that, but
I'm
not. It could be that we need to log into your account together if you're up for that, and have a look at how to customize it for you.
Yeah, so it gets rid of the key stage setting, like the titles and things like that.
Well, yes, because you make a setup, you can call it whatever you want.
Okay.
And a teaching group could be one child, and then within that you can hide anything and everything. So that's the way we envisaged it being used, really. So it is, in my mind anyway, very flexible.
Okay, thank you.
And if you remember on the way in, I said don't use a username and password on this setup because we're going to use pupil IDs.
Yeah.
You can do that, and that lands, so a child could do it that way if you wanted, and just jump straight into a setup. but then they wouldn't have all the My Busy Things blasts and stuff like that, but they would just land on the content that you've customized for them.
Okay.
So there's lots of different ways of trying to achieve what you're asking, I think.
Okay, thank you.
So just get in touch if you'd like to spend some time with me looking at your account with you and show that to you.
Yes, that would be really good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah. Anyone else? No? Okay. Right. I will email you all a link to this, and feel free to share it. I presume that's all right with the three of you, because it's actually only recording this screen, so I don't think faces are going to appear on it anyway. All right. Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.